Hey guys, welcome to Crazy Burger. In this video, we're going to be looking at Neo Geo Arcade 1 on the Neo Geo Super Pocket. Let's get started. Okay guys, so we're going to have a look at Neo Geo Arcade 1 on the Super Pocket. Could well be a really decent companion with this Neo Geo Super Pocket. You can add more Neo Geo games. This is the first cart from a few, I'm sure, that will be released on Evercade. We do know that we're going to get another couple. I think it's September or October we're going to get the other two. There's 6 games on this. We've got likes of the original Metal Slug, Shock Troopers, King of Fighters 2000, Ironclad, Magician Lord and Goku. Really decent collection. And I love playing it on the Evercade EXP. And this won't be an in-depth review. It's really just checking out that the cart works fine and plays well enough on the Super Pocket with the smaller screen and obviously a slightly different D-pad and obviously smaller buttons as well. So without further ado, let's get started, let's play through the games and I'll give you my thoughts as we go. The first thing has to be noted that the sound is definitely far better on the Super Pockets than the EXP, there's no doubt about it. Obviously I could crank it up, it will sound great, but it's not going to be ideal for this video to be playing it at that level, so I'll try and keep it to a reasonable sort of sound level. The other thing is the sort of cart doesn't really use the shoulder buttons, so this will not be a problem reaching around for these. It's really just the face buttons and the D-pad that we'll be concerned with. So let's have a quick look at Ironclad. Now this is a Neo Geo CD game, which is pretty cool, and I like it's got level 4 down here. I'm guessing that is the default setting. We don't actually have access to any dip switches at all. We don't have any access on the EXP or VS either, so don't worry about that. You've got the access to controls and you can't edit them unfortunately on the Super Pocket, and you've got your save states that you can access as well. You press the select button to insert a coin and start to get started. This is a really cool horizontal left to right scrolling shoot 'em up. I'm not a big fan of shoot 'em ups, but I actually really enjoy this one, and you can see that it definitely has a lot of quality. Basically just a mix of the sort of D-pad and the face buttons here as well, and I think Y is defaulted to turbo fire, which is quite helpful. Saves you having to press the button constantly, so you can just hold down the sort of Y button without getting finger fatigue, which, yeah, it's always welcome in these games. It's something that Blaze introduced fairly recently on all their sort of products, and I think it's made a massive difference. I guess not everyone likes using that sort of thing. You might want to be more traditional and just constantly press the button and annoy whoever else is in the room with you. So there's no doubt about it, for me, this is a really good shoot 'em up, and I've thoroughly enjoyed playing through it. But just like a lot of the arcade games on here, the amount of sort of coins that you would have to insert realistically if you were playing this on an arcade machine would be completely eye-watering. So I'm not sure how many people realistically was going to get this far into the game anyway, unless they were going to spend a small fortune. So next up is Magician Lord, and this one isn't really my favourite game on this collection. It's probably the only one that I haven't enjoyed playing from the 6. Now some people might enjoy this, it's just a little bit on the difficult side. So it's like a sort of scrolling platform, sort of run and gun, shoot 'em up type of thing. Mostly I suppose it's a platformer that it's mainly described as, but yeah, it's a tough one. You'll really get frustrated. Even if you spam those save states, you're going to get frustrated. Again, you cannot obviously hold down the Y button, but I don't think it makes a massive difference in this game. I think you're probably better using B to jump and A to obviously fire whatever weapon you've got at the time, and then you'll die instantly every time. So sadly, I've not really made massive progress in this game. I've just not been enjoying playing it. I've probably been playing all the other games on this collection instead of this one. Now, admittedly, I think sometimes this is where the D-pad comes up a little bit short. In some of these games, you have to sort of fire sort of diagonally and up, and sometimes it just doesn't quite hit the mark. More so in the diagonals than anything else, but I think the EXP probably suffered the same sort of thing. Honestly, I really think some of these games will probably most definitely be better on the Evercade Alpha with that sort of joystick rather than the D-pad. I just think some of these games just don't work great, especially trying to get those diagonals. It's going to be tricky. There's another game on this collection that will suffer the same fate, which is the King of Fighters game, and perhaps Shock Troopers, which we'll mention in the video. Sometimes hitting those diagonals just isn't possible. Okay, next up we're looking at Metal Slug, perhaps one of SNK's most well-known games, and there's been many different versions of this and sequels to this game. Now I've played obviously the Metal Gear, sorry, not Metal Gear, we've got Metal Slug X on the actual Super Pocket, but I have to be honest, I actually prefer playing the original. I think it's got less levels, but I just feel it's just more simplified. I know there's a lot going on, but I think Metal Slug X is trying too hard, and I think in the process suffers a heck of a lot of slowdown. Within this version of it, I didn't really notice a heck of a lot of slowdown at all, so that was certainly far better in my view. Now I know a lot of people complain about the button configuration, which obviously you can't change on the Super Pocket, but I've kind of got used to the fact that A is fire button, B is jump, and X is for your sort of bombs. It really doesn't bother me at all, but that might bother you, so bear that in mind, and you can't actually change it either. But for me, I just got used to it, never really thought about it, and just got on with it, to be honest. And it became more natural to use A for the fire button rather than thinking that would be the jump button, for example. Yeah, you will die a lot in this game. As I said, I think there's only about 6 missions in this game, which is probably traditional for most of the Metal Slug games, apparently, apart from Metal Slug X, I think. But you will die so many times, it's just almost laughable. I think I probably went through bazillions of credits just to even get to the final sort of stage. And yeah, you can see there is some slowdown in some parts of the game, but it's nowhere near as bad as Metal Slug X. Still, this is such a great fun game to play. I would urge anyone not to enjoy this to some degree. And yeah, thankfully, yeah, I did get to the sort of end boss, which just seems to go on forever and ever. But still, what a game. What a great game. So next up is Sengoku, and this is a sort of scrolling, sort of slash 'em up, so to speak. This one's very weird. Fun, but it's just weird. I'm not entirely sure what is going on in the game. Now I'm making slow progress through this game offline, but yeah, it does constantly go up to the sort of, I don't know, it's like a spectral realm or something, and you get extra sort of people to help you. They've got various orbs there to collect as well, which have different effects depending on which which fighter that you choose. You can press the X button and you can choose between, I think you end up having a dog and a samurai fighter. Very weird. I'm not really sure which one's best to use. Maybe it's a little bit of experimentation required. But yeah, this is alright. I just feel that the pace is just a little bit slow and your character can't run. But it's alright, it's certainly worth a play. I didn't have any issues with the controls or D-pad or anything. It's just a little bit of the weird side to actually play through. I said you can change between your different characters, between a samurai and a dog. Obviously depending on who you're facing, maybe you need a little bit more firepower, so you get the samurai, but it only lasts for a certain period of time, and then it sort of defaults back to the main sort of fighter again. I don't really know what's going on. I really don't have a scoob. I really don't know. Don't ask. Something's going on. No idea. It's fun enough to play, right enough. So next up we've got Shock Troopers. Obviously we've got Shock Troopers 2 on the Neo Geo Super Pocket, but that one suffers from incredible amounts of slowdown and probably a little bit unplayable on this. Thankfully though, the original Shock Troopers is probably a lot more fun to play and doesn't really suffer from any slowdown at all. But sometimes I felt, like I said earlier in the video, the D-pad comes up a little bit short sometimes when trying to reach those diagonals. Especially in some of the sequences where you're sort of climbing ladders and trying to sort of hit certain diagonals here and there. It didn't feel great, and that was on the EXP as well, so it's not necessarily a Super Pocket problem. I think it's just a problem with the game itself, where it's really meant for arcade purposes using one of these joysticks. So if you've got an Alpha, I reckon this would be fantastic on the Evercade Alpha, and that's probably where it's meant to be played after all. Obviously this is a Mercs commando style game. You can choose a different route as well throughout the game. constantly you can choose different routes, so there's probably a lot of replayability within this game, which is fantastic. So once you've completed it, go back and play through some of the stages that you never actually touched. But as I said, sometimes it's a little bit tricky with the aiming. If you hold down that button, it will obviously stick to the same sort of position that you're aiming at, but if you let go and press the D button in another sort of direction, it will obviously be a bit strange. But anyway, I just felt D-pad just didn't feel brilliant for this. I mean, you can get used to it, but I really think it's better designed for a joystick. That's just my opinion. I don't think it's any worse on the Super Pocket than it is on the EXP, to be honest. It just doesn't feel completely natural. Take a little bit of practice to get right, that's for sure. Yeah, there's just times when maybe I just can't quite hit the diagonals as well or as quick as I would like to whilst playing this game. Maybe that's just me, maybe it's just how I'm playing. I need to sort of get my finger off the button so that you can change to a different direction. It's just a little bit weird to get your head round sometimes. Okay, final game. This is the King of Fighters 2000. And this is a great fighting game, or beat 'em up game, whichever term you want to use. I love the fact that you've got so many fighters to actually choose from. And interestingly enough, it does take a little bit to load in. Not sure why, but anyway. Really cool game. Now, I haven't found any issues playing through this collection with the screen size. It doesn't seem to make a big difference for this game. Absolutely fine for me. You obviously have to keep that in mind when you're sort of purchasing one of these Super Pockets. If you don't have great eyesight, then it's probably not something that you want to pick up, because the screen is pretty small. It's certainly a great fun game to play, and sadly, obviously with Super Pockets, you can't play this as a two-player game. Obviously a lot of these titles on this are two-player titles too, but anyway, you're just going to be on your own, so I have no idea who I'm selecting here. Just random. Such a fun fighter, really is a fun fighting game. But can you hit all those special moves using this D-pad? I really don't know. I'm really more of a button basher myself, but I didn't have any issues with the D-pad playing this particular title. I'm not sure if you'll hit all those moves that are indicated in the actual manual. I think there's some tricky ones there. I really think, as I said earlier in this video, you're going to have more fun trying to hit those special moves using that joystick on the Evercade Alpha instead, rather than on this D-pad. I think you're going to have some problem trying to hit every single move. The D-pad's not terrible, but I just think it's going to have... You're going to certainly have some troubles hitting every single move. Okay guys, that's our look at Neo Geo Arcade 1. This will be out at the end of August 2025, and for me this is a perfect companion for your Neo Geo Super Pocket. Obviously it's fine for any Super Pocket, but I think there's just something cool about having this cart along with this Super Pocket. Thanks again for watching, bye for now.